The transport ship landed on the alien colony with a deep, rumbling sound. Dust rose in the air, and the few human survivors stepped out one by one. Among them was Daniel, a young man who had lost everything in the great war between humans and the Dark Hunters. His planet was gone, and his people were scattered. Now the leaders of the colony had given him a strange order that felt more like a test than a gift. They told him, "You must choose one of the alien sisters. Only one. Together you will help repopulate to make sure life goes on." Daniel's heart raced as he walked through the crowd. Everyone's eyes followed him. They whispered, waiting to see his decision. Two alien sisters stood at the center of the gathering. The first sister, Alara, had bright silver eyes that glowed softly under the two suns. She looked kind, gentle, and warm, like someone who wanted to heal the broken world. The second sister, Ceres, had dark, violet eyes. She was quiet, mysterious, and strong. Her presence made Daniel feel both afraid and curious. Both sisters bowed their heads when he stepped forward. Alara said softly, "If you choose me, I will give you peace. I will help build a home where no one has to fear again." Ceres spoke with a voice low and sharp. "If you choose me, I will give you strength. I will fight by your side until no enemy remains." The leaders of the colony stood behind them, watching. Their faces were hard and cold. This was not a game for them. This was survival. Daniel looked at the sisters. His chest felt heavy. The crowd grew silent, waiting. Inside his mind, Daniel fought with himself. How can I choose? Both of them feel connected to me. Both of them are important. If I choose one, the other will be left behind. If I choose wrong, maybe everything ends. His breathing slowed. His eyes moved from Alara's gentle smile to Ceres's sharp gaze. In that moment, he realized something strange. When he looked at them together, he felt a strange energy. It was as if the air around them changed, alive with a hidden force. The silence stretched longer. People shifted uncomfortably. The leaders frowned. One of the elders stepped forward. "Choose now, human. Only one." Daniel's hands shook. Sweat dripped from his forehead. His heart pounded like a drum. He remembered the faces of the people he had lost. He remembered the destruction of his planet. He remembered his promise to himself that he would never let life slip away again. He raised his head. His voice was steady now, though his body trembled. I cannot choose one. I choose both." The crowd gasped. Murmurs filled the air like a storm. The leaders shouted in anger. "Impossible. It is forbidden." One elder roared. "No human may take both sisters." Another shouted. But Daniel stood tall, even though his legs wanted to give way. "If you want life to continue, if you want hope to return, then I need both. Alone, they are strong, but together, they are more. I can feel it." The sisters looked at each other. For the first time, they both smiled. A secret passed between them, something no one else could understand. Alara stepped closer, her silver eyes shining. "He feels it, sister." Ceres nodded slowly. Yes, he sees the truth. The leaders argued loudly, but the sisters raised their hands. A soft glow spread around them. The crowd fell silent once again, staring in awe. The air shimmered with power. Daniel felt it to an energy flowing through him, touching his heart, making his skin burn with strange warmth. It was not painful, but alive, like touching the core of a star. The sisters spoke together, their voices rising in harmony. "We are two, but we are one. If he chooses both, then he chooses the path that was hidden. The path of life." The ground beneath them trembled slightly. The leaders stepped back, their anger turning into fear. Daniel looked. At the sisters, his voice low but firm. I will not let either of you go. I choose both. Or I choose none. The crowd erupted again, half in shock, half in fear. Some whispered that the prophecy was real. Others shouted that it was madness. Suddenly, the sky above darkened. A strange shadow passed over the twin suns. People screamed and pointed upward. Daniel raised his eyes. In the distance, lights moved across the sky shapes of alien ships. Fast and sharp, heading toward the colony. The sisters turned pale. Alara grabbed his arm tightly. It is too soon. Ceresa's violet eyes flashed with fire. They are coming for us. The crowd panicked. The leaders shouted orders, but Daniel stood frozen, the weight of his choice heavy on his shoulders. He had chosen both sisters, and now the future of not just the colony, but maybe the entire galaxy, had changed forever. The shadow of the ships grew larger, closer, darker, and so Daniel's true journey began. The alien ships in the sky did not attack right away. They hovered above the colony like giant shadows, silent and cold. The people below stared up with fear, their voices hushed. No one knew who these new arrivals were, but the sisters did. Alara whispered hunters. Her silver eyes dimmed. Ceres clenched her fists, her violet gaze burning. They have found us. Daniel looked at them, confused and shaken. Who are they? What do they want? Ceres turned to him. Her voice was sharp but filled with hidden pain. They want us. They always wanted us. We carry something inside, something powerful. That is why the leaders wanted you to choose. They thought with one of us by your side, life could begin. Again, but together. She stopped, as if her words were dangerous. Alara touched her sister's arm gently. He must know the truth, Ceres. He has already chosen both of us. The path has started. The crowd was in chaos. Elders shouted to prepare defenses. Mothers carried their children into shelters. Warriors armed themselves with old rifles and energy spears. But Daniel's focus was on the two sisters. He lowered his voice. Tell me everything. What are you hiding? The sisters looked at each other. Then Alara spoke. Long ago, before the hunters came, our people discovered a secret. A bond between human and alien could create life stronger than either alone. But that bond only works when the two of us are together. We are twins, born with linked souls. One brings light, the other brings shadow. Alone, our power is broken. But with you together, we can awaken the seed of life again. Daniel's heart pounded. The truth felt heavy, like a door opening into something too big to understand. So that's why they wanted me to choose. They wanted to control the bond. Ceres nodded. Yes, but they were afraid of what happens if both of us are chosen. They fear our full power. Above them, the ships moved closer. A low hum vibrated through the sky. The ground shook under their weight. The colony's leader, Elder Varric, stormed toward Daniel. His face was twisted with rage. You fool. You have doomed us all. Choosing both sisters is forbidden. You don't understand the danger. Daniel stood his ground. The danger is already here. You saw the ships. You think following old rules will save us? No. Something bigger is happening, and I won't turn away from it. The elder raised his hand to strike Daniel, but Ceres stepped between them. Her eyes glowed, dark violet, and a wave of force pushed the old man back. He fell to the ground, gasping. The crowd fell silent. For the first time, they saw the sisters' hidden power. Alara's voice rang clear. The hunters come for us. They will not stop. If we stay here, everyone will die. The only way to survive is to leave the colony and follow the path. Daniel frowned. The path. Where? Alara glanced at Cerise. Her voice dropped to a whisper. To the desert wastelands. There is a cave. In that cave lies the truth of what we are and what you must become. Cerise added, it is our only chance. If the hunters capture us here, the bond will be broken forever. They will drain our power and leave nothing but ashes. The hum of the ships grew louder. A beam of light cut through the sky, scanning the colony. Panic broke out. People ran in all directions. Elder Varric shouted, do not listen to them. Stop the sisters. Stop the human. But it was too late. The sisters grabbed Daniel by the arms. Alara whispered urgently, we must go now. Cerise growled, run. The three of them dashed through the colony streets, the beam of light chasing them. Houses cracked under the pressure, loud, metallic. Voice echoed from the ships above, surrender the twins, or be destroyed. Daniel's heart raced. He looked at the frightened faces of the colony people. He wanted to protect them. But he also knew the truth. The sisters were the key. The three ran past the colony gates into the wild sands beyond. Behind them, explosions shook the ground. The hunters had begun their attack. The wastelands stretched, endless and dry. Twin suns burned the sky red and gold. The air shimmered with heat. But the sisters moved with purpose, as if they knew the land better than anyone. Daniel struggled to keep up. Where is this cave? How far? Cerise's voice was steady, but her eyes flicked nervously toward the sky. Far enough that the hunters will follow. Close enough that we may still reach it alive. They stopped at a high ridge. From there, Daniel looked back. The colony was burning. Ships hovered above it like vultures. People screamed as fire spread through the streets. Daniel clenched his fists. I promised I would never let life slip away again. Okay. But now I leave them behind. Alara touched his shoulder gently. Sometimes, to save the many, you must first protect the secret. Without you, without us, there will be no tomorrow for anyone. Daniel looked into her silver eyes, then into Cerise's dark gaze. He felt torn between guilt and destiny. The ground trembled suddenly. A beam of light struck the ridge nearby, blasting sand into the air. The hunters had found them. Cerise grabbed his hand, her voice fierce. No more questions. The desert sun burned hot above them, but the sound that haunted the air was colder than ice. A deep hum, steady and rising, rolled across the wastelands. The hunters were near. Daniel, Alara, and Cerise ran across the shifting dunes, leaving trails of broken sand behind. Every breath felt heavier, every step harder. The sky above them filled with shadows, long dark shapes moving fast. Alara glanced back, her silver eyes wide with fear. They are closer than I thought. Cerise gritted her teeth. Then let them come. I am not afraid. But Daniel was afraid. The hunters were not unknown to him. He had seen them once before, years ago, on the night his homeworld fell. Tall, armored beings with faces hidden behind dark masks. Their voices mechanical, their movements merciless. They did not fight for land or resources. They fought only to take, to consume. The hum grew louder. Sand whipped around as 3 hunter ships dropped from the sky. Their sharp wings cut through the air as they descended. Daniel stopped running. His chest heaved. We can't outrun them. They're too fast. Cerise pulled him forward, her voice harsh. Keep moving. The wasteland will cover us. The cave is close. But even she looked uncertain now. The hunter ships opened and black figures leaped out. They landed with heavy thuds, the ground shaking beneath their armored feet. Glowing. Eyes locked onto the fleeing trio. One of the hunters raised its weapon, a spear made of black light, and pointed at Daniel. A metallic voice echoed through the desert. "Surrender the twins. Human, step aside. They are ours." Daniel froze. His throat tightened. His legs felt weak. A part of him wanted to obey, to step aside, to save his own life. But then he looked at the sister Solara, trembling but standing strong, Ceres ready, to fight with fire in her eyes. And he remembered the vow he made. Never again would he watch life be taken away. He clenched his fists. "If you want them, you'll have to take me too." The hunter's glowing eyes narrowed. "So be it." First hunter lunged forward, faster than Daniel expected. Its spear sliced the air toward him. Daniel barely dodged, rolling across the sand. The heat of the weapon scorched his arm. Ceres leaped into action. Her hands glowed with dark violet light, and she slammed them into the ground. The sand burst upward in a wave, knocking the hunter back. Another hunter jumped in, swinging a jagged blade. Alara raised her arms, her silver glow forming a shield around them. The blade clashed against the light, sparks flying. Daniel scrambled to his feet. His heart pounded like thunder. He had no weapon, no armor, no plan. Yet, as he looked at the sisters fighting side by side, something inside him shifted. A warmth spread through his chest, then into his arms, like invisible fire. Ceres shouted at him, "Daniel, stand between us." Without thinking, he obeyed. He rushed forward, standing between Alara and Ceres. The sisters each grabbed one of his hands. At once, the desert air changed. The glow of silver and violet merged through him, flooding his body with a power he had never known. His eyes burned with light. His skin hummed like a living current. The hunters stopped for a moment, surprised. Their glowing eyes flickered. Daniel felt energy surge into his arms, then burst outward in a wave. Sand exploded into the air, blasting. The hunters back, their weapons clattered across the ground. For the first time, they stumbled. Alara gasped. "It's working." Ceres smirked fiercely. "Now they will see." But the hunters were not finished. Their leader stepped forward, taller than the rest, its armor marked with glowing red lines. It raised both hands, and the desert itself seemed to freeze. The leader's voice was deeper, more menacing. "The bond has awakened. Kill the human. Take the twins alive." Dozens more hunters poured out of the ships. Their footsteps shook the dunes. The air filled with the hiss of their weapons charging. Daniel felt his new strength, but fear clawed at him. "There are too many. We can't fight them all." Ceres's eyes narrowed. "Then we don't fight them all. We escape." She pointed toward the jagged cliffs in the distance. "The cave is there. If we reach it, they cannot follow." Alara nodded, her voice trembling but determined. "Hold on to us, Daniel. Do not let go." The hunters charged. Daniel and the sisters ran. Beams of black light struck the sand around them, blasting craters. The heat burned Daniel's back, but he kept running. One hunter leaped in front of them, blocking the path, its blade raised high. Daniel shouted, his body glowing again. He slammed his fist forward, and a shockwave of light threw the hunter aside like dust. Ceres laughed, wild and fierce. "Good. Use it again." But Daniel's strength was fading. His chest ached. His legs shook. He didn't know how much more he could give. The cliffs loomed closer. The hunters closed in behind them. Alara shouted, "Almost there. Just a little more." But as they reached the base of the cliffs, the leader hunter dropped from the sky, blocking the cave entrance. Its red-marked armor glowed brighter, power pulsing from its core. Daniel stopped in his tracks. His breath caught in his throat. This hunter was stronger than all the rest. The leader's voice echoed like thunder. "The human has no future. The twins are ours." The sisters tightened their grip on him. Their voices rose together, fierce, and unyielding. Not while he stands with us. The desert fell silent for a heartbeat. Then the final battle at the cave's entrance began. The cave entrance shook as the leader hunter stepped forward, its red-marked armor glowing like burning coal. Daniel's body ached, his strength almost gone, but the sisters stood firm on each side of him. The leader raised its weapon. A spear of black energy crackled in its hands. The twins belong to us. The human is nothing, Cerise snarled. Then faced nothing. She pulled Daniel's arm, forcing him between them. Alara closed her eyes, her silver light merging with Cerise's violet flame. Daniel's chest burned with power again, brighter this time, sharper, like lightning trapped inside his bones. The hunter thrust its spear down. Daniel raised his hands instinctively. A blast of white-violet silver light erupted from his palms. The attack struck the hunter's weapon, shattering it into shards of dark glass. The leader roared, stumbling back. The other hunters closed in, circling like wolves. Alara gasped. We cannot fight them all. The cave is not ready to open. We must go deeper into the wasteland. Cerise's eyes flashed. If we leave now, they will follow us. Daniel's voice cut through. Better they chase us than trap us. Move. With no choice, the sisters pulled him away from the cave, sprinting across the jagged cliffs and back into the endless desert. Behind them, the hunters gave chase, their heavy boots shaking the ground, their weapons glowing with death. The wasteland stretched wide and merciless. Sandstorms began to rise, whipped by strange desert winds. The sun burned, but the hunters did not slow. Daniel's lungs screamed for air. His legs felt like lead. How much farther? He cried. Alara pointed ahead, her silver eyes glowing. With hope beyond the black ridge. There is a hidden valley. We can lose them there. The ground beneath them cracked suddenly. Daniel stumbled. A deep rumble echoed under the sand. Ceres pulled him up, growling. Faster, human. The desert itself fights us. But it wasn't the desert. A hunter had slammed its spear into the ground. Dark energy spread like roots, splitting the earth apart. The sand collapsed, opening into a wide hole. Daniel, Alara, and Cerise tumbled into the darkness below. They landed hard in a cavern lit by glowing crystals. Strange markings covered the wall symbols that pulsed faintly with light. Daniel groaned, pushing himself up. Where are we? Alara's eyes widened as she traced the markings with her fingers. This place. It is older than the colony, older than the hunters. It was built by the first ones. Cerise narrowed her eyes. A trap, more like. They will follow. As if to prove her right, the sound of armored footsteps echoed above. The hunters were climbing down into the cavern. Daniel's heart pounded. He stared at the glowing symbols. Something about them felt familiar, as if they were calling to him. His hand brushed across one, and it lit up brighter, spreading light across the entire cavern. The sisters gasped. Alara whispered. He awakened the path. Cerise's voice was low. So the legends were true. Before Daniel could ask, the hunters dropped into the cavern. Their leader roared, pointing its broken weapon at him. The human must die. The bond ends here. Daniel felt his body burning again, but this time it was different. The light from the walls flowed into him, filling every vein, every breath. The sisters grabbed his hands, and together their glow became blinding. The hunters charged. Daniel shouted, and a shockwave of pure energy burst outward. The cavern shook as the wave slammed into the hunters, throwing them against the walls. Crystals shattered. Sand rained down from the ceiling, but the leader stood firm. Its armor cracked, glowing brighter with fury. You cannot escape me. It leaped forward, striking Daniel with a blast of red energy. Daniel flew back, crashing into the wall. Pain exploded through his chest. His vision blurred. The sisters screamed his name. They stood over him, shielding him from the next attack. Daniel struggled to breathe, but his hand brushed another symbol on the wall. The ground trembled. A hidden door opened at the back of the cavern, leading into a tunnel of light. Alara shouted, "There!" The path to the valley. Ceres pulled Daniel to his feet, her arms strong around him. Move before the whole place falls. The hunters charged again, but the cavern shook violently. Stones crashed down from above. The tunnel of light began to close. Daniel forced his legs to move. The hidden valley was quiet, almost too quiet. Strange glowing plants swayed gently in the wind, but no sound of birds, no sound of insects. Nothing alive except the three of them. Daniel felt uneasy, but the sisters seemed calm, as if this place had been waiting for them. Alara led the way, her silver eyes reflecting the faint light of the plants. The hunters will break through the collapse soon. We cannot waste time. Ceres walked at the back, her sharp eyes scanning the ridges above. This valley hides more than it shows. Stay alert, human. Daniel followed, his body aching but his heart restless. You said you would show me the truth. What truth? Alara stopped before a wall of black stone at the far end of the valley. Symbols glowed faintly on its surface, the same kind Daniel had touched in the cavern. She placed her hand on the stone. The symbols lit up brighter, and the rock split open, revealing a passage. A cold wind rushed out from the darkness within. Ceres nodded. This is the place. They stepped inside. The passage led downward, deeper and deeper, until the air grew heavy and the walls glowed with ancient markings. Finally, they reached a vast chamber. At its center stood a giant crystal pillar, glowing softly with silver and violet light. Around it were carvings, humans and aliens, standing together, their hands joined, their eyes glowing with the same light Daniel had felt in himself. Daniel stared in awe. This is us. Alara's voice was soft. Yes, long ago, the first ones discovered the bond. Human and alien together created a force beyond life and death, a force that could rebuild worlds. Ceres stepped forward, her eyes fixed on the crystal. The hunters were born from that secret. They wanted the power for themselves. They hunted the bonded pairs, destroyed the worlds that carried the truth. Daniel felt a chill run through him. So that's why they're after you. Alara nodded. Because we are the last. You, Daniel, are the final piece. Alone, we are broken. With you, we are whole. Daniel placed his hand on the crystal. It pulsed under his touch, light spreading through the chamber. He felt warmth rush into him, stronger than before, but also clearer. Images filled his mind, flashes of battles, of humans and aliens standing side by side, of the hunters devouring everything they touched. And then, one final image, a human holding hands with two alien sisters, their light creating a shield that stretched across the stars. Daniel gasped and pulled back. His heart raced. I saw it, all of it. A war, a prophecy, us. Ceres tilted her head. Then you understand why we must fight. Running will not be enough. Before Daniel could answer, the chamber shook. Dust rained down from above. A deep echo filled the passage. The hunters had broken through. Alara's eyes widened. They are here. The crystal pillar pulsed faster, as if warning them. Daniel grabbed both sisters' hands. Then show me how to use this power. Show me how to fight back. The sisters exchanged a look. Ceres's eyes burned with fire. Alara shimmered with calm light. Together, they guided Daniel's hands. Onto the crystal, A surge of energy exploded through him, flooding every nerve, every thought. He screamed, the sound echoing through the chamber. His body glowed, brighter than ever before, silver and violet swirling like a storm around him. The carvings on the walls lit up as if awakening. Symbols danced with life. The ground shook harder. Alara whispered, "The bond is complete." Cerise smirked. "Now let the hunters try." The chamber doors burst open. The hunters poured in, their leader at the front, its red armor glowing with fury. "The twins are ours. The human dies here." Daniel's eyes glowed with blinding light. He stepped forward, no longer weak, no longer afraid. His voice thundered. "No, I am not yours, and they are not yours. This ends now." The hunters charged. The sisters raised their arms. Daniel unleashed the power. A wave of light filled the chamber, slamming into the hunters. Their weapons shattered. Their armor cracked. Screams echoed as they stumbled back, but the leader stood tall, resisting the force. Its voice roared above the chaos. "You cannot stop what has already begun. More will come. Whole fleets will come." Daniel felt the power burn inside him. It was too much, almost unbearable. His body trembled, his vision blurred. He feared he would break apart. Alara's voice steadied him. "Breathe, Daniel. Let the light flow, not fight." Cerise's voice urged him. "Do not hold back. Strike harder." Daniel listened to both. He let the power flow freely, but he also pushed with all his will. The crystal responded, glowing brighter than the suns outside. The leader hunter screamed as its armor cracked wide open. Light tore through it, shattering the red glow. With one final cry, it exploded into dust. The remaining hunters fled, their ships pulling back into the skies. Silence filled the chamber. The light dimmed slowly, leaving only the glow of the crystal. Daniel fell to his knees, gasping, his strength drained again. Lara and Cerise caught him, each holding one arm. He looked at them, his voice hoarse. "We won. For now." Lara nodded, but her silver eyes were troubled. Yes, but the leader was right. This was only the beginning. Violet eyes glared toward the ceiling where the hunters had fled. "Let them come. We're ready now." Daniel swallowed hard. Deep inside, he knew the truth. The hunters would return. In greater numbers, with greater fury. And the war for the future had only just begun. The hunters did not vanish for long. Even as the dust of their leader's defeat settled inside the crystal chamber, the sky above the valley filled with fire. Dozens of ships descended, their engines rumbling like thunder. The colony far behind was already burning. And now the hunters came for the last light of hope. Daniel stood at the mouth of the cave, his body trembling. The bond had given him power, but it had also drained him. His arms felt heavy, his vision blurred. Yet he could not fall now. Not when the sky was full of enemies. Alara placed her hand on his chest, her silver glow steady. "Breathe. The bond will guide you again." Cerise stood at his other side, her violet eyes sharp as blades. "No mercy, Daniel. Tonight, we end." The hunter fleet spread across the sky. Black armored figures dropped from the ships, hundreds of them, their weapons glowing red. At the front, a new leader emerged larger, stronger, its armor covered in jagged spikes. Its voice shook the valley. "Human, twins, you defied us. Now you will be erased." The ground shook as hunters marched forward. Daniel clenched his fists. His fear was still there, but it no longer controlled him. He turned to the sisters. "If we fight together, maybe we can stand. Maybe we can end this here." They nodded, each taking one of his hands. The bond awakened again. Silver, violet, and white light burst around them, forming a shield. The hunters fired their weapons, beams of dark energy crashing against the shield. The valley lit up with explosions. But the three stood firm. Daniel raised his arm. Light shot out, striking the front line of hunters. Their armor shattered like glass. Cirrus roared, pulling her power through him, and the ground cracked open, swallowing more enemies. Alara's glow healed Daniel's wounds as fast as they opened, keeping him on his feet, but the enemy leader was not like the others. It raised both hands, and a storm of red fire filled the valley. The shield shook under the weight of the attack. Rocks split apart. The air burned. Daniel gritted his teeth. "I can't hold it." Alara's soft voice steadied him. "You can. Let the light flow, Daniel. Do not resist it." Ceresa's fierce voice pushed him. "No fear. Strike harder than before." He listened to both. His body glowed brighter, the bond surging through him until it felt like his skin would tear. He unleashed the power in a single blast, a wave of light that tore through the valley. Hunters screamed as they burned into ash, but the leader still stood. Its armor cracked, glowing with fury. It charged, swinging a blade of pure red fire. Daniel met the strike with his bare hands, the bond blazing around him. The clash shook the valley like an earthquake. Light and shadow collided, tearing the air apart. The sisters pressed their hands onto Daniel's shoulders, pouring all their strength into him. Silver and violet streams wrapped around his body. He shouted, the sound raw and thunderous. As the blades shattered into pieces, the leader roared, striking again and again, but Daniel fought back each blow. Sparks lit the sky like falling stars. Finally, Daniel seized the leader's chest. Bond flared so bright it blinded everyone. Light poured into the enemy's armor, splitting it open. The leader screamed, its body cracking with fire. No. This power was ours. Ours. Daniel's voice was steady now, like the voice of someone who had become more than human. Not anymore. With one final push, the bond exploded. A storm of silver and violet light swallowed the leader whole. The sound of its scream echoed, then vanished into silence. When the light faded, the leader was gone. Only black dust remained, carried away by the desert wind. The battlefield fell silent. The remaining hunters froze, their glowing eyes flickering. Then, without their leader, they retreated. Ships rose back into the sky, fleeing like shadows before dawn. Daniel collapsed to his knees, exhausted. His body felt broken, but he was alive. The sisters knelt beside him, holding him close. Alara's gentle voice whispered, "It is over." Cerise smirked faintly, though her eyes were tired. For now, Daniel lifted his head. The valley was quiet again. The hunters were gone. But far away, beyond the stars, he could feel something watching. The bond inside him pulsed with warning. This victory was only one step. The valley was quiet at last. The hunters were gone, their leader reduced to dust. Their ships vanished into the dark sky. For the first time in many nights, Daniel could breathe without fear. The desert winds carried only silence, but the silence felt heavy, as if the land itself was waiting. Daniel stood slowly, his body aching from the battle. Alara supported him gently, her silver glow calming his pain. Cerise stood nearby, her violet eyes still sharp, scanning the horizon for danger. "We survived," Daniel whispered, his voice rough. "Somehow, we survived." Alara smiled softly. "Not by chance, by choice, by bond." Cirrus crossed her arms, a small grin tugging at her lips, and by fire. Daniel looked at both sisters. In their faces, he saw hope, strength, and something mar a promise of tomorrow. But deep inside, he also felt the weight of what had begun. The bond inside him still pulsed, not calm, not quiet. It warned him of storms yet to come. They spent the night in the valley, resting near the crystal chamber. The stars above glowed, brighter than ever, twin moons rising slowly over the black ridges. Daniel lay back on the sand, staring upward. Before all this, he said softly, "I thought my life was over. My world was gone. My people were gone. I had nothing left." Alara's voice was gentle, and now. Daniel turned his head toward her. "Now, I don't know what I am, but I know I'm not alone anymore." Cerise chuckled. "You'd better not be. Without us, you'd be ash already." They laughed quietly, the sound carrying into the night. For a moment, the fear and the pain faded. The next morning, Alara led them deeper into the valley. At the far end, another cave waited smaller, hidden beneath glowing vines. Inside, ancient carvings stretched across the walls. Unlike the others, these showed not war but renewal, worlds reborn. Children of light. Daniel touched the carvings with trembling hands. This is what we're meant to do." Alara nodded. To bring life back, to rebuild what was lost." Sirius added, "And to destroy the hunters when they come again." Daniel's throat tightened. He thought of the colony, the people who had been left behind in flames. Guilt gnawed at him. "We couldn't save them." Alara's hand rested. On his shoulder, "We will save what remains. The future is not lost." But before Daniel could answer, the ground shook again. Not from hunters this time, but from the sky itself. They rushed outside. High above, beyond the twin suns, an entire fleet of hunter ships hung in orbit. Not dozens, hundreds, thousands. A dark wall blotting out the stars. Daniel's chest tightened. So many. Cerise's eyes narrowed. They know we are alive. They will not stop. Alara's silver glow flickered with fear, but she stood tall. Then we must be ready. The fleet did not attack. Not yet. Instead, one ship larger than the rest lit up, sending a beam of red light across the horizon. It was not a weapon, but a message. A voice echoed through the valley. Deeper than thunder, colder than death. "You may have destroyed one of us, but you cannot destroy us all. The bond is ours to claim. We will return. We will take everything." The light faded. The fleet remained in orbit, a shadow watching from the stars. Daniel's hands shook, but his voice was steady. "They'll come back with all their power, with all their fury." Sirius smirked, her violet eyes blazing. "Good. Let them." Alara's silver eyes softened, but her voice carried strength. "We are more than they fear. We are light and shadow, joined with you." Daniel looked at both sisters, his heart heavy but full. He thought of the choice he had made, the forbidden choice. And he knew now it was the only choice. He raised his head toward the black wall of ships above. His voice was quiet but unbreakable. "We will not run. We will not hide. If you want to erase us, then come. We will fight. And this time, we will not fall." The valley winds carried his words into the night. The sisters stood beside him, one on each side. Their hands linked with his. The bond flared once more, silver and violet light rising into the sky like a beacon. The hunters would see it. The galaxy would see it. A new beginning had come. And, with it, a war greater than anything before. But Daniel was no longer afraid. He had chosen both. And together, they would change everything.